Hi friends, welcome to the Share Report. If you are new here, thank you so much for joining. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you're returning, thank you so much for your support. Be sure to share this channel so that we can get others on board to be active citizens, because we're definitely in crisis mode here in America. So you may have noticed at the very beginning of this video, I posted a quote from General Smedley Butler, who is a highly decorated Marine. He served in a variety of wars, some smaller wars that we don't hear a whole lot about, as well as World War I and the Mexican War. And he was, like I said, he was highly decorated, had 16 medals, 5 of them were for heroism, and then he was the only one to have a medal twice. So highly decorated, very well known, highly respected, and he wrote a book called War is a Racket. And I want to preface, war is a racket. And for him to have served for 33 years and 4 months, so that's a long time he served in the Marines, and for him to come to the conclusion that he was basically fighting to line the pockets of big bankers, big businesses, Wall Street, and hurting people at the same time. So it's not like this random person, this random hippie, or this random person that hates the country. No, he actually served, and he came to the conclusion that he was basically fighting for big business. And one of his quotes that I really like, that's very true, and you can even see the parallel to today, because he was born in the late 1800s and he served in World War I, which was a very long time ago. So you can see the parallel then to now, how politicians and big businesses are making money off of war. And one of his quotes, he says, "I served in all commission ranks from second lieutenant to major general. And during that period, I spent most of my time being a high-class muscle man for big business, for Wall Street, and for the bankers. In short, I was a racketeer, a gangster for capitalism," which is so true. If you realize how much money is spent on war, so for instance, when Biden abruptly pulled out of Afghanistan a couple years ago and left all of that material behind, all of that war material behind, military material behind, like $7 billion worth of that. They didn't even try to bring it back. The reason why is it's more where that came from. We can make more money off of it by producing more. And here we are meddling into the conflict with Russia and the Ukraine, and sending more and more money over there. So that's another thing. When you hear politicians wanting war, see where their stock investments are. For instance, Lindsey Graham always hollering about war and wanting to get rid of Russians and saying terrible things about Russians and wanting to be involved in the war in Ukraine. You should see where his stocks are. I recently learned that there is a representative, actually plenty of them, and it's on both sides, both Republican and Democrats, that they have stock in war. When they invest, they're more likely, when they have stock in war type businesses, for instance, Raytheon, and Lockheed Martin and Boeing and Honeywell, which is an aerospace company. When these Congress people have stock in these military businesses, they are so likely, so ambitious to get into war because they're lining their pockets. That's why we should definitely be against politicians owning stock in war, because if they don't have any stock in these war companies, they're more likely to think, okay, is this worth putting Americans into harm's way? Is this worth sending our men and women into war? So I'm going to play a video for you. I want you to see how much money is being sent into war-related things, and we will reconvene.
War profiteering is a very easy source of money. If you don't worry about what's right and wrong.
Lockheed Martin getting $36 billion a year of our tax money, and much of that rolls over into profit.
These people are being paid with our tax dollars because most of the money that these defense contractors bring in are taxpayer dollars through government contracts.
I think a lot of what the contractors do is basically legalize greed.
There you have it. It's insane the amount of money that is going towards the military-industrial complex. Billions and billions and billions of dollars that we could actually be investing in our own country. We could take that money and help the homeless people, help people who are in drugs, invest it in housing, hospitals, people who are sick. There's so much that we could be doing with that money to help people instead of harming people, because war harms people. My friends and I put together this postcard to encourage people to call their politicians and say, let's stop investing in war. Let's stop investing in hurting people. Let's stop investing in the military-industrial complex. Let's be against politicians owning stock and profiting in war companies. Because this here, children, they always say, politicians say, let's do it for the children's future. Vote for me for the children's future. But they don't care about children because they're bombing children. Children are in hospitals from being bombed and hurt via war. Women are being raped. There's so many terrible consequences to war that people do not realize. When we invest in the military-industrial complex, there's so many consequences, terrible consequences, not only children being hurt, people being hurt. There's famine. People lose food. People go hungry. I want you to see this video, and then we're going to wrap this up and we're going to talk a little bit more. I want you to see this video. It's terrible. It breaks my heart. I want to leave you with this final thought. What if that was you? What if that was your country? And for those of you who are Christians, think about how she must feel. Think about these women who lose their children through war, who get raped, who lose their husbands, their dads, their brothers. Think about that. I know I opened with General Smedley Butler, a quote from him. I'm going to close with the greatest quote of all, one of the greatest quotes from God. I'm going to close with it. It's blessed are the peacemakers. You'll see it at the very end. And I want you to ponder that. And I want you to be against war and promote peace and promote that politicians do not profit from war or invest in stocks that are war related. And I'll see you in the next video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks.